What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Barbells and Bangers. Hi, I've got some coffee here because I'm recording this early in the day. So I'm recording my MMA podcast on Sunday afternoon, evening, whatever you want to call it. And then now I'm going to try recording Barbells and Bangers in the morning on Monday. So, well, I guess now it's afternoon because I had other stuff to do this morning. But I'm going to change my schedule around a little bit. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, it was a chaotic morning. I meant to record this earlier, but I had to deal with stuff. So, good times. Oh, also, make sure to check out WELLBEING Brewing, their non-alcoholic beer. And if you use my code, BREECKERT, you will get 10% off, $10 or more. So go to wellbeingbrewing.com. Check it out. This is the Heavenly Body, the Golden Wheat. Obviously, I'm not drinking this right now because it's kind of early in the day. And even though this doesn't have alcohol, I still feel weird drinking beer early in the day on a Monday. Just seems kind of weird to me. I don't know. I guess there's nothing wrong with it, but personally, I prefer to have my beer in the evening. It is kind of a nice time to like crack open a beer though. This time of year where it's like so hot outside. Oh my God, I don't even want to go outside. It's so hot. Why don't we have actual seasons in Missouri? Why is it just extremely hot or extremely cold? And then with the extremely hot, you just get like random hailstorms. And it's like, what? Like you'll just be driving in your car and then all of a sudden there's just hail. And you're like, okay. Got it. I saw a thing. Let me see if I can find it. It was something about like Missouri is like one of the worst states for natural disasters. I guess it makes sense because, I mean, we have literally everything here. Sorry, I'm yawning, guys. I don't know where that came from. I don't know where I saw this article. Oh, check this out. Car insurance crackdown could be coming to Missouri. Oh boy. As part of a package of laws affecting car owners, state lawmakers last month approved a provision that will allow the Department of Revenue to electronically verify whether a vehicle is insured. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't already have that capability. Because it was pretty frustrating, I will say, like, because I was in insurance for 5 years. And I owned my own agency for a year and a half. And that's the career I just left for various reasons, which I've discussed on previous episodes. Not going to get into all that right now. Not going to tell my whole life story on this episode, but I will tell you some of it. So that was one thing that was frustrating, was just how many people did not have insurance. And I'm like, it just kind of made it, I don't know. I don't know. It's just like, if they're not going to enforce the laws, then why have them? It just is annoying. Because it's like, okay, well, nobody has insurance, so. There's like 4 people that have insurance. Is their insurance going to pay for everything? And you know, and it wasn't that bad, but I think it's like 13% of drivers in Missouri are uninsured. So that's a lot. So that's probably a good thing that they're actually doing that. But I thought they could, like, why could they not already do that? Because like not mortgage lenders, like auto insurance or auto lenders, they can check to see if people have insurance, because I always got them like calling me to like see if somebody's insurance canceled or something, because like they have a system, I guess they can check it, but I guess the Department of Revenue just figured it out. Good job. Took you a long time. Yeah, I mean, that's good, because then it means they're actually enforcing the laws. Because otherwise, there's no point of having laws. So, because it's like, there's so many people here that don't have insurance. And I know they don't, because I sold insurance. And I talked to people every day about it. So, I think I know a little bit about it. And like, I would try to tell people, I'm like, dude, you know, like a lot of people don't have insurance, right? They're driving around. So, because people will be like, oh, well, whatever. If I get in an accident, their insurance will pay for it. I'm like, if they have it, if they have insurance, you know, otherwise it's going to be your insurance. But I don't know. It's just funny. Yeah. And most people, like, when I lived in the city, like, everybody's license plates were expired. Like, nobody paid their sales tax and stuff. It's like, I don't know, that I just kind of got used to it. Like, that's just like how it is. I was like, oh, I just mind my own business, you know? I'm not going to be one of those people that's like, hey, I saw this person driving with expired license plates. It's like, who cares? Maybe they just, you know, maybe they're saving up for it. You know, I don't know. Who am I to judge? My license plates were expired before because I didn't know. I had no idea, because I don't look at my license plates. And it's not like a temp tag where the date is like in big bold letters. So I thought I had 2-year plates, but it turns out I, for some reason, only had 1 year, or it was because I transferred my plates from my old car to my new car. So they expired like a year before I thought they were supposed to expire. And I got pulled over, and she's like, yeah, your license plates are expired. And I was like, huh? And then I looked, because I didn't believe her, because I was like, no, they're not. And then and then I looked, and I was like, oh, my bad. And then here I look like a jerk telling her, like, my license plates are not expired, ma'am. I'm like, you're crazy. It turns out they were. Oopsies. Yeah. Oopsies. And then I it took me literally like 3 weeks though to get new ones, because I had to jump through all these freaking hula hoops to get to the plates. Like, I had to go to this place, to this place, to this place. And it's like, why is there so many different obstacles for me to get my plates done? I'm like, maybe this is why so many people have expired license plates, because they're just tired, you know, or maybe they're busy. They don't have time to go to all these different appointments. Like, I had to go to the tax assessor. I had to go to get my inspection done, which a lot of places don't do inspections. I'm like I went to freaking like Jiffy Lube or something. I don't even know where I went. And I'm like, hey, I need an inspection, figuring that like it would take them like 10 minutes. And they're like, oh yeah, we don't do those here. And I'm like, what? So then I had to go to another place. And then that place, it took like 4 hours. And I was like I was just sitting there waiting for them to do it. And then they did it, and it took like 20 minutes. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how to do car stuff. Okay. See, this is what husbands are for. And I don't have a husband. So I got to do it myself. So it's, you know, it's going to be a mess. I'm not good at doing this stuff. I don't know how to figure out, you know, oil changes in cars. I could never change my own oil. It would, no. The car would probably blow up if I did. I've never been good with cars. I know a lot about cars, like different makes and models and stuff like, because I sold cars, but I don't know how to fix them. I don't know how to work on them. When then something goes wrong, I don't know what to do, and I have a panic attack. So yeah, cars aren't my thing. So if I like, when I get married, I definitely need to pick somebody who's like good with cars and like good at fixing things, because I'm not. So we can't just both be sitting around like with everything's broken and we don't know how to fix it. Oh gosh. Yeah. But anyways, what the heck was I talking about? I don't even know anymore because I went off on a whole tangent. This is the problem. This is what I do. I go off on tangents. But yeah. I don't know. I don't like doing things that require like a lot of phone calls and like paperwork to like get them done. Like that's why dealing with doctors and health insurance is so frustrating, because it's like you have to send in all these documents and you have to sign 3,000 things and you have to call them and you have to sit on hold and you got to deal with the insurance, and the insurance always denies everything, and then you got to get them to approve it, and it's like I just want to feel better. And you're doing all of this while you're dealing with health issues. That's what's so broken about like our health insurance system, is like it's like a full-time job just to deal with insurance. Like, why is it so much work? Like, isn't that their job to do? Like, you guys figure it out. Why do I have to figure out how to pay my doctor? Like, I don't know. It's so dumb. And I worked in insurance. I just talked about insurance. I didn't do health insurance though, because I don't have time for that. Some people always were trying to get me to do health insurance, and I'm like, yeah, right. Like, I'm not getting tricked into doing that. No, because I know how much of a headache it would be. Oh God, I can only imagine how much of a headache. Yeah. I think my favorite form of insurance that I did was probably life insurance, because it just felt less stressful, I guess. And it was more meaningful. Like, I was having really I was talking to people about death, which is not something fun to talk about. But I think in doing that, like, I was really able to get to know people and get to know their situation so that I could really help them. I felt like with property and casualty, like auto and home insurance, like I could never really, I didn't really feel like I could help people like learn things. Like, I was trying to like educate people on insurance, and it was more just like, hey, I need my insurance so I can get my plates. And I'm like, oh, okay. And here I am like trying to, I don't know. I think that's why I just like can't really, I think that's why I'm not as good at sales anymore as I used to be. I'm still good at sales, but I'm not good at selling something that maybe is not something I truly believe in, or that I'm very passionate about. I think that's what's tough for me now. I used to be able to just sell anything. But now I don't want to sell just anything. Like, I only would want to sell things that I really believe in. And most of those things, you don't really make a lot of money from selling, so. But I don't really care. Like, I think that's why I just have kind of gone away from sales a little bit. Is just, yeah, I don't know. Like, all the products that like I promote like on my YouTube and like on here, like, that's actually stuff that I use and stuff that I enjoy. So I don't really even consider that sales. It's more of just like, hey, here's a way that you can support, my podcast and also buy stuff at the same time if this is stuff that you like to buy. But you don't have to, So that to me doesn't feel as much like sales. Sales to me is when you're like, I don't know. I mean, I guess it still is sales, but I don't know. I just don't like how a lot of companies do sales is the problem. Like, a lot of companies, sales is like very pushy and like it's all about the money, and I just like to educate people and help people. I don't really want to just make money off people. So, yeah. I don't know. I guess that's not how you get rich though. But whatever. I just hate when you sell something and it seems really cool at first, and then like 6 months later, it's like it turns out everything is just like a lie, and you're like, oh no. Oh no. That's why I like took so long to like pick a supplement company, because I'm like, all these supplement companies get sued all the time, and like I don't want to like pick one and then it ends up like they end up getting sued as like poisoning people. You know what I mean? That was like my biggest fear, because it's like, that's something you're putting in your body. Like I take that really seriously. Like I don't play with that kind of stuff. No, absolutely not. Yeah. I just thought that was funny. But you know what's crazy is just like how much stuff is in our food that we eat. Like, and people, like when I say stuff like this, people get mad at me because they're like, oh, you just, you know, you can't just enjoy things. And it's like, no, I do, but it's like you really should look at the ingredients sometimes, guys. It's kind of crazy. Like, what are they putting in all this stuff? I don't know. I didn't really read the ingredients much, like, until last couple years. Like when I actually got sick with lupus, that's when I kind of started to pay more attention to like what's in my food. And it's kind of shocking. I don't know. Like if I don't know how to pronounce an ingredient, I just don't feel like it's something I should be eating. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm at least just trying to minimize it. Make it like, I don't know, maybe more like 10% of my diet is just stuff that I don't know how to pronounce. Plastic, probably what it is. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, guys. I'm not yawning because I'm tired. I'm yawning because I get out of breath from talking. Because my allergies are so bad right now that I can't breathe out of my nose. So I'm like trying to breathe and talk at the same time. It's hard. I'm not that talented. And I have asthma. I had to use my inhaler recently. And I'm like, this has been a while. It's been a while since I used my inhaler. But the allergies are bad. Anyways, what else do I want to talk about? Oh, Calum Von Moger. John Bravo just did a video on Calum Von Moger. So it looks like he's like turning a new leaf, it looks like, in his life, which is good. And for those of you who don't know, Calum is a bodybuilder, and he's like an influencer or whatever. Yeah, so I guess to back up a little bit, so he had a pretty bad drug problem, and I don't know his whole like history. I just know kind of a snapshot of it. Like he had a pretty bad drug problem, and then I can't remember when it was. I want to say it was last year. He tried to kill himself. And so he's got a lot of mental health issues that he's been dealing with. And then his brother died this year. So and John Bravo covers like a lot of the bodybuilding news. He even covers some MMA news too, but he covered this. And that's how I actually found out about the first time. Wasn't from his video, but it was from Nick Trigili's video, Bodybuilding and BS, who I've talked about before, who actually got banned from YouTube, so it's no longer on YouTube. But that's how I found out about like this whole story, was from him. Cause I just like keeping up with stuff that's going on in fitness, and yeah, so I watched his videos sometimes, and if it was something, I didn't really watch all like the competition bodybuilding videos because I don't really follow bodybuilding, but I do like to keep up with like what's going on in fitness, and you know, with like influencers and stuff like that, just so I know, like, stay in the loop. Yeah, but Calum, yeah, had a drug problem, tried to kill himself, and then his brother died. So everybody's like thought like, how is he gonna like come back from this? You know, it's just like one thing after another, it seems like. And it seems like, at least in the video that he made, it seems like he really is like making an effort. He's realized the mistakes that he's made in the past. Like he wasn't very close with his child, and wants to make that relationship better, and is just kind of like turning a new leaf, trying to be a better person. So hopefully that really is what's going on. I mean, I know sometimes people, you know, they get better for a few months and then they fall right back, but I hope that's not the case with him. I hope he really is like turning things around, because it is sad to see somebody with like very like successful, good looking, and has all these things, and then they struggle with their mental health, and it really ruins their life. So it's sad to see that, but it's good to see somebody turning it around. That's always good to see. So yeah, it was a good video if you haven't watched it. And I think this month is like mental health month or something like that. And I think it's just good to be transparent about mental health and not have such a stigma around it. 'Cause like, I don't know. And I feel like a lot of people now are getting better about it, but still there's a lot of people that think like, if you struggle with depression, it's like you're just being a victim, or you're just, I don't know, whatever people say. Like they're basically saying like it's not a real thing, and it is a real thing. I mean, there's people that are millionaires, billionaires that have depression. People that have everything you could ever want, and they still don't even want to be alive. So yeah, depression is a very real thing. And I think to dismiss it like it doesn't exist is very arrogant and just kind of wrong, because it's like, you don't know. Have you ever struggled with it? Obviously not, if you're saying it doesn't exist. But I don't know, some people just have this mentality, and it can be very, very toxic. But I don't have that mentality. I mean, I think maybe sometimes mental illnesses are a little bit overdiagnosed, like ADHD maybe is a little bit overdiagnosed. But that doesn't mean that it's not real. 'Cause like I have ADHD, and I know that I have ADHD because I've been to a doctor multiple times. I've been treated for it. If you guys spent a day with me, you'd be like, yeah, she has ADHD. Because I'm not on medication anymore. When I was on medication, you probably wouldn't be able to tell that I had it. I mean, you probably would, but not as bad. But now it's like, yeah, you can definitely tell, because I've been off medication for over a year now. And yeah, you can tell. But, and there's nothing wrong with taking medication too, because sometimes that's the only option, like sometimes. And I think it's good to combine medication with behavioral change too, not just medication. Because like for me, at least, I think it would have been helpful to have like, I guess more of like therapy and like somebody to help me kind of navigate through my life and through those challenges, rather than just giving me the medication. Because the medication did help, but I still, like, the goal should have been to get me off of it, I think. And I can't get off of it if I don't know how to handle it without medication. So I don't know. That's just my perspective. And it's hard being a doctor. I don't know. I would never be able to do it. So I'm not really going to like criticize doctors, but I don't know. It just seems like, yeah, a lot of people still have a stigma on mental health. And especially with men, a lot of men get told they're, whatever, for being emotional, being sensitive. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with it. I actually think like if a guy is very like unemotional, like I think that's kind of unattractive, honestly, because it's like, I mean, I don't want you to be crying all the time. Like that's kind of weird. But like show some emotion so I know you're a human. It's like, I feel like some people bottle everything up so much because they want to act like they're unbreakable or something. But then it's like, those are the people who end up getting broken down the most, because they bottle it in so much that it gets to the point where it just all boils over. And then they just have like, episodes where they just freak out and just like get mad. So it's like, I don't know. I think it's better to be expressive with your emotions sometimes, and actually like give yourself a minute to like feel your emotions, and then, okay, now let me get over it and let me move on, and then move on to the next thing. But you have to sometimes feel your emotions. Like you can't just like suppress them. But yeah, so mental health is something that's important. I mean, it's something that I talk about because I think it's important. I think it's something that people should talk about. And I think that in our society, yeah, we do have a little bit of, and it's getting better with like some people, but there are still a lot of people out there who, you know, they're like, oh, we'll tough it up, like stop complaining or whatever. And it's like, I don't know. I just don't like the old school mentality like that. I like old school mentality on some things, but that's not one of them. That's something that does need to change. Because there are people that really do struggle. And telling them to toughen up is not going to help. So, yeah. Yeah. It's just like people say things sometimes and it's like, yeah, you're not helping. You're making it worse. Thank you. Ugh, I get so mad. I just get so mad when people are just disrespectful in general. I don't like that. Or people who are just judgmental. I don't like that either. Stop being so judgmental. I'm still trying to find that that article about the Oh yeah, I found it. Missouri is a top state for climate disasters. Missouri is the third most disaster-prone state in the country, according to a recent analysis. The third most disaster-prone. This is where I live, guys. This is where I live. But if you think about it, it's like, yeah, Missouri has tornadoes. We have floods. We have earthquakes. What else do we have? Is there another natural disaster that we have here? I'm trying to think. Tornadoes, floods, earthquakes. We had a dust storm recently. That was kind of crazy. Yeah, let me see if I can find that article. My brother's friend was telling me about this. I didn't even know about it. Dust storm, St. Louis. Let me find it. I'm going to find it. Yeah, dust storm causes fatal pileup on I-55 in central Illinois. 7 people confirmed dead in Illinois dust storm crashes. This was a month ago. Dude, that's crazy. Deadly dust storm. Yeah, because there was a drought. We hadn't had much rain at the time. Officials said the likelihood of another dust storm is very rare. Wow. Yeah, nobody could see anything. That's why there were so many cars that crashed. Because nobody could see. I mean, it was like a bad pileup. Crazy. 72 vehicles colliding. Oh my God. That is insane. I'm looking at pictures of it. Guys, this is insanity. And I don't know how I didn't hear about this when it happened. I mean, I guess I don't really read the news that much. Like, I'll check it sometimes, but I don't check it like every day. So I probably missed it. That's so crazy. 72 cars from a dust storm. Yeah, so that's Missouri for you. We have dust storms, tornadoes, floods, earthquakes. It's hot here. We have heat advisory. We have allergies. We have blizzards. We have snowstorms too. Yeah, I forgot about that. We have snowstorms. One time I drove to a job interview in a snowstorm for AT&T. I got the job. They probably just felt bad that I drove there in the snowstorm. Because it took me like an hour to get there, and I only lived like 10 minutes away. And I was like, well, I'll be there. And I think I got there before like the manager got there who was interviewing me. So that made me feel good. Because I was like, well, I beat you here. And it's literally a snowstorm. So. But yeah, Missouri's cray cray. The weather here sucks, honestly. Yeah, it's not good weather. That's probably the worst part about living here. It's just the weather is terrible. Cause it's like there's no season where it's like nice. It'll be nice for like a couple weeks and then it's like back to miserable. So that's just how it goes. I read I can't remember what page it was, but there was a page that posted the other day, who is the most underrated country music artist? So I figured I would talk about that on the podcast instead of commenting on a Facebook post. I don't like commenting on Facebook posts anymore. Sometimes I'll like write a comment and then I'll be like, never mind. Cause then I think of like what somebody's going to respond with. And I'm like, I don't have the energy for this today. You know, cause like anything, you can comment anything on social media now and somebody's going to have like a problem with it. You could just be like, I love bananas. And somebody be like, actually bananas are poisonous. And you're like, what? And they're like, bananas are a sign that you are a serial killer. And it's like, really? Like you can get canceled because you eat bananas nowadays. I don't know. I'm making this up, guys, just so you know. This isn't real. I didn't really talk to somebody and they told me bananas are poisonous. I'm just making this up. Like some people, I feel like sometimes people take what I say like way too literally. And my personality, like I'm a little like sarcastic sometimes, or exaggerate things for emphasis. Because it makes the story more fun. I don't know. But anyways, yeah. So, who is the most underrated country music artist? Let me think about that. My first instinct would be Sturgill Simpson. Because it's most underrated. That's the question. I think Zach Bryan probably used to be, but I think now he's really starting to get popular. But it's like he hasn't been doing it nearly as long as some of the other artists, so I don't know. Yeah, I would have to go with Sturgill because I think Sturgill is more technically like skilled than Zach Bryan. I think maybe Zach Bryan might be a better songwriter, but I think as an overall musician, Sturgill Simpson is better. Not that this is really a competition just between Zach Bryan and Sturgill Simpson, but those are like my top two choices. I would say Tyler Childers, but I don't think he's really underrated. I think he's properly rated. Or maybe he's a little bit underrated, but not nearly as underrated as Sturgill Simpson. Because like I tell people about Sturgill Simpson and they're like, who's that? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. He's won Grammys. Sturgill Simpson. What? How do you not know about Sturgill? And he's just like so different than a lot of country artists too. Like he's not, I don't want to get into politics, but you know, Morgan Wallen has said things in the past that were maybe not very nice. And he, you know, I just don't like that. it doesn't affect the way I feel about his music, because I hated his music before he said that. So it's like, I don't hate his music. It's really not that bad, but it's not my thing. I'm not a big fan of it. I just prefer non-racist country music. I don't know. And that's, you know, people say things sometimes and people change. So it's like, you know, we probably shouldn't hang that over his head forever. But, you know, if he still says things like that and if he still acts like that, then yeah, then screw him. But that doesn't affect, yeah, that's not why I don't like his music though. I already didn't like his music that much to begin with. So, yeah, but Sturgill Simpson just seems like such a cool guy. You know, like, not only is he a great musician, he just seems like a cool guy, you know, and yeah, he's just awesome. He's awesome. How can you not love Sturgill Simpson? Such a respectable guy. Like, you know, there's stories about him. Like, I think it was, he played a show, Sturgill Simpson. It was in like Georgia or something. Atlanta, maybe? Sturgill Simpson, Atlanta. Yeah. After voice issues, Sturgill Simpson turns Atlanta show into karaoke night. I feel like I've probably talked about this on the podcast before, but you know what? I'm going to bring it up again. Friday night was like any... Hold on, let me start that over. Friday night was like any regular Friday night at the Saving Country Music headquarters when not... Who wrote this article? Because this doesn't make any sense. I'm just going to skip to the next paragraph. At the beginning of the article, I think they're trying to be funny, and it's just like, but they're not making any sense with their grammar. Anyways, the show Friday night at the beloved Tabernacle in Atlanta was Sturgill's chance to make it up, and lo and behold, he was sick again. Oh, so he got sick. So the last time he played in Atlanta, it turned into a bad situation. At the Terminal West show, Sturgill was sick. The sound sucked on stage, and his dog had just died. That's Jesus. Sturgill uncharacteristically let the culmination of these events get to him, and after about 7 songs performed through grumbles, he left the stage, promised to make it up to Sherman's Tinderbox in the future. Well, at least he tried. That would be frustrating. I don't know if anybody's ever dealt with a dog dying, but that's literally... When that happened to me, like when my dog died last year, oh my God, I was a mess for a long time. Like, it was not fun. It was really hard to get through work. Really hard. And that was when I was working in insurance. But anyways, the show Friday night was his chance to make it up, and lo and behold, he was sick again. Okay, he just needs to stop going to this place because he gets sick every time he shows up. Sturgill Simpson was sick to the point where he could barely sing. Immediately upon taking the stage, he apologized to the crowd, said he was suffering from severe allergies. I can relate to that. And that he would make it up to them in a makeup show December 7th. And then he decided to do something unprecedented in country music. And I'm not talking about pontificating on hallucinogenic drug trips in song. Sturgill Simpson decided to turn Atlanta's Tabernacle into the hottest karaoke bar in town that night. After trying to sing the first song, Sturgill began to invite folks from the crowd up on the stage to sing the songs for him. As you can imagine, this plan garnered mixed reviews. Some thought it was awesome and a unique experience they will never forget, and appreciated that Sturgill at least tried to do something entertaining as opposed to canceling last minute. And others, including fans who had attempted the previous Atlanta show and some of which who traveled from out of town, were less forgiving. Somebody got mad. They said, Sturgill Simpson blaming allergies for an abbreviated show in Atlanta 2 years in a row. Yep, my last time trying. I mean, if he's sick, he's sick. What are you going to do? But at least he didn't do what Morgan Wallen did and cancel the rest of his tour. I mean, he tried. He turned it into a fun thing. I mean, yeah, it's not the same as seeing Sturgill Simpson perform, but I don't know. I would still just be happy to be there, you know? I mean, he turned it into a karaoke event, and he scheduled a makeup show. So, whatever. But it's like you can't ever make anybody happy. Like, no matter what you do, people are never going to be... They're always going to complain about something. That's what I've noticed. It's like it's never enough. It's like, oh my gosh, what else do I need to do for you? But yeah, I think Sturgill, going back to what I was saying, I think Sturgill Simpson is the most underrated country music artist. For sure. I mean, just his music is so good. And nobody knows about it. I mean, I feel like people that listen to country music regularly know about it for the most part, but yeah, also another guy that's underrated, I would say it's like Cody Johnson. I mean, he's getting more recognized because he just won an award at CMT, the CMT Music Awards. So he's getting recognition now, but for a while it seemed like nobody really knew about him. But I guess he hasn't really been doing music super, super long either. Not as long as like some other artists. But what have I been listening to lately? Oh, I finally listened to Danny Brown's new album. I think it's called Scaring the Hose. Is that what it's called? Yeah. Scaring the Hose. That's what it's called. It's a good album. Like, it actually is really good. I like Danny Brown. And Danny Brown, I'm going to find him on Instagram. Yeah, he's been doing podcasts and stuff. And he's actually pretty funny. Like, he's a funny guy. Like, you would think, does he do stand-up comedy? Or does he just do music? Because you would think he's a stand-up comedian, just like the way he talks. He's hilarious. Danny Brown. Yeah, I don't think he does stand-up comedy, but he's funny. What's his... Well, he does podcasts with stand-up comedians. That's why I was thinking maybe he did comedy, because he does a lot of podcasts with comedians. Like, he had Shane Gillis, Derek Poston. What's his podcast called? I love to see comedians do podcasts with like people that are outside of their space. Like when Andrew Huberman does podcasts with comedians, like he did Tom Segura's podcast, and it was awesome. It's just funny to see them in like a different element. Okay, it's called The Danny Brown Show. I need to start actually watching this podcast regularly, because I feel like I would enjoy it. Because like they probably talk about hip hop and stuff, which I love. Yeah, he had Shane Gillis on. He had Tony Hinchcliffe, Hannibal Buress. So he's had like some big comedians on. Who else did he have? Christina P., Tom Segura's wife. When did he start this? He probably started this last year. Because it doesn't look like it's been going on very long. I was going to say, I thought it just kind of started like pretty recently. He had David Lucas on. David Lucas is funny. Who else? I don't know. But yeah, the Danny Brown show. I'm going to watch it after this. Or actually, I'll probably listen to it. Not going to watch it because I have things to do. But yeah, his last album was really good. I've just been listening to Danny Brown a lot more lately. But that's smart for musicians to do podcasts because I feel like that would get you a lot more exposure. Because it's like a lot of times like when musicians would do like interviews and go on like late shows, like that would get them exposure. So like now like podcasts are a version of that. So I feel like musicians going on podcasts is kind of like them going on like Colbert or whatever and performing, and then they do an interview. But I think it's cool when they have their own podcast. I think that's really cool because then it's like you kind of get to see like a little bit like in their life, like how they are as a person, and just like what other things are they interested in, and how did they get to this point, and what inspires them, and like I don't know. I feel like you just learn a lot about musicians when they have a podcast. It's kind of cool, but not a lot of them do. I feel like. But I think this year, I think everybody's going to have a podcast. I think everybody's going to start. I mean, it kind of is already getting to that point, but it's not even there yet. Like, I know so many people that are thinking of starting podcasts. It's crazy. But I don't know. I think some people, like, they start a podcast and they're like, okay, how can I make money from this? And I'm like, bro, you haven't even started. You don't even know what your podcast is going to be about yet. So you shouldn't be worried about making money from it. Like, just start the podcast first. See if you can even do it. See if you even like it. Do it for free before you do it for money, for sure. Because if you do it for money and then the money disappears, then you're not going to want to do it anymore. Or if you do it and the money never shows up, then you're just going to quit. So you have to be willing to do it for free, I feel like, with podcasting. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I'm just not all about monetizing everything. I think it's just kind of weird. And like sometimes I get caught up in that because like people around me are like constantly kind of like coaching me on like, oh, this is how you can monetize this and this is how you can do that. And it's like, okay, that's cool, but I don't know. I don't want that to be like my main motivation for doing things. So yeah, I don't know. That's just me, though. That is just me. I think my battery's on here backwards. Whoopsies. Yeah, it was. So it wasn't charging this whole time. Wow. Hopefully my battery doesn't die before I finish this podcast. That's the only thing. Oh, it's because I keep forgetting. I need to get like a dummy battery or something for my camera. I'm so bad with technology, guys. I feel like that's the biggest thing that holds me back with this stuff. It's just like I don't know how to do things like with computers and stuff like a lot of people do. And I also don't even have a Mac. I just have a PC, like a regular PC. It's not even made for editing. So my computer like almost crashes every time I do something. I need a new computer. I feel like I don't know. The thing is, I don't want to like get another like crappy computer. Like I want to like actually get a nice computer, like get a Mac so I can do like more editing stuff and do it like more professional. But I'm gonna have to save up for that, so we'll see. But right now, yeah, I'm just working with what I got. I don't know, I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job considering, you know, I just started not that long ago. I just started earlier this year. So we'll see where it goes. But it's fun. I enjoy doing it. This is kind of like, I've said this before, but this is kind of like my diary. I feel like it's just a way for me to get everything out. It's almost like my therapy session. I mean, it's not nearly as valuable as a therapy session would be, but in a way, I think it's good for me to like get my thoughts out, and then I can listen to it later and kind of reflect on my thoughts a little bit. And sometimes like I don't even realize things that are going on, and then I'll listen to my podcast where I'm talking about something. I'm like, oh, I never really noticed, you know, that this was going on in my life. Like, it's just like something I'm used to. And then I'm like, oh, and it just, I don't know, it just makes me reflect a lot on things. So I think that's good. I think that's why it's good for me to have one podcast that's a little bit more like planned, and then one podcast that's a little bit more like where I'm just kind of talking, because it allows me to really like get through my thoughts and think about things with a little bit more intention. And I don't know, it's fun. But yeah, I see what's going on in the world. There's so many fights this week. What the heck? A 33-year-old man from Missouri plotted with a Tennessee man to drive to the U.S.-Mexico border to murder both border agents and immigrants entering the country. What the heck? They posted quite a bit about their grisly plans on TikTok. The two were indicted by a federal grand jury last week and are currently in custody. Oh my gosh. What the heck? People are crazy. Dude, I think TikTok is making some people crazy. I'm not going to lie. And maybe it's not TikTok itself. Maybe it's just like the content and the people on TikTok that they're interacting with. But still, I don't know. It just seems kind of sketch. I'm excited for Bare Knuckle this weekend. I think it's on Friday. Let me see. Yeah, it's on Friday. So Tuesday, tomorrow, is The Ultimate Fighter. And then Thursday's PFL comes back. And then Friday's Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. And then Saturday's UFC Nunes versus Aldana. And we are not too far away from International Fight Week, which I'm very excited about. I really want to go. So freaking bad. We'll see. We shall see. Oh, you know what I need to do? I need to figure out what I'm going to do for my workout today. I just realized it's Monday. I need to get my butt back in the gym. Okay, so I guess we're just going to figure this out right now because after this podcast, I am going to eat and then I'm going to go to the gym. So today because I'm doing upper, lower, and then I'm going to do glutes. So today will be upper body. So what am I going to do? What am I going to start with? Maybe I'll start with like an overhead press. Or maybe I'll take a break from overhead press. I'm going to start with dumbbell press. Shoulder press. Yeah, I'm going to start with that because that's something I want to work on again. Because for a while I was working more on my overhead press and just kind of like work on my strength more. And now I want to kind of do a little bit more like aesthetic type training. Not as much like heavy lifting, more like, I don't know. I mean, I still kind of want to do a mix of everything like strength, hypertrophy, endurance, but a little bit more like endurance, hypertrophy, I guess. At least right now. It's summertime. It's shred season. I don't know. I just like to switch it up too. Like it really just, it's good to switch it up. Okay, so I'm going to start with shoulder press, and then what am I going to do after that? Maybe then I should do maybe some type of a row. Maybe I'll do like a dumbbell row. So it's like one arm at a time. I like doing rows. I mean, actually, I really don't, but I'm going to make myself like them. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so then after I do the row, what am I going to do after that? Maybe then I'll do some type of, maybe just like a tricep extension. And then after that, maybe I'll do bicep curls. And then, oh, and then I'll do lateral raises. So do lateral raises after that. And then maybe that'll be it. Or I could throw some face pulls at the end. Hit the rear delts. Yeah, I'll do that. Just to keep it simple. See, I just keep things simple. I don't do all these fancy exercises. I just do stuff that's easy, that I can remember. I don't have to learn a bunch of techniques. Because it's like you can learn 18 different ways to do the same exercise and you're probably going to get similar results. So it's like you might as well just find a variation that feels good to you and that feels comfortable, where you're not hurting yourself. And then just stick to that. And then, do different like switch it up, but don't switch it up every single week. Like for a while I was doing mostly cable machine stuff for my back. So now I'm going to start doing like more like dumbbells and barbells a little bit more. Yeah. You just got to switch it up sometimes. So yeah, I'm going to start with shoulder press. And then I'm going to move into dumbbell rows. One arm dumbbell rows. And then I'm going to do tricep extensions just on the cable machine. And then I'm going to do bicep curls. Then I'm going to do lateral raises. And then I'm going to do face pulls. That's a pretty good upper body push-pull workout. And I like to alternate. I like to do push and then pull. So that way the pull muscles kind of get a break while I'm using my push muscles. And, you know, you kind of use... There's no way to really like isolate your push muscles necessarily, but I think it's just a little bit easier to do it that way. So I have a little bit more recovery, like with my triceps and stuff. Cause those are like that's like the first thing to go when you're doing like shoulder press and stuff like that. Like you really feel it in, you feel it in your shoulders, but your shoulders, you know, I feel like they can take a lot more than, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to explain. I'm just trying to explain the feeling that I get when I'm working out. Like, it seems like certain movements, certain muscle groups tire faster than others, depending on what I'm doing. But, yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to start with shoulder press, dumbbell row, tricep extension, bicep curls, lateral raises, face pulls. I'm just going to start with that, and then I might change it a little bit. I might just see what all I want to do. But I usually don't like to do more than 6 exercises in a workout, especially because I'm going to be doing 5 workouts a week. So I don't want to overload myself and do too much. I think people think you have to do like 18 exercises every workout. It's like, no. Usually I do anywhere between like 4 to 7, depending on how many days a week I'm training, what I'm doing, and how intense I'm going. Because if you're going really intense on an exercise, you're not going to do 15 different exercises because you're going to be exhausted and it's going to take you forever to recover. So you kind of got to make sure you have a balance. But I don't know. That's what I'm going to do. And then tomorrow will be leg day. Scary. Leg day is always the worst. It's just so exhausting. I would much rather do upper body. I think upper body's more fun too. But you got to do it. Don't skip leg day, okay? Don't be running around with your little chicken legs, skipping leg day. No, thank you. Okay. Well, I'm going to wrap this up. Because I got to go to the gym and do my upper body workout. But it was great chatting with you guys. Thank you for listening, watching, however you're consuming this. I appreciate the support. And I will see you guys next week. So, yeah, have a good day. Bye. Happy Monday.